Welcome back to the channel. Not long ago we checked out the eufy E28, a top-tier robot vacuum packed with features like HydroJet, floor washing, advanced navigation and even a built-in deep cleaning unit. Today we're taking a look at its smaller sibling, the eufy E25. Big box. It shares many of the same core features like mopping, laser mapping of your surroundings and smart app control, but skips the deep cleaning unit, so the station is a little bit more compact and making it feel more compact and even a little bit more affordable. But the robot is more or less the same. And to give all of that a little bit of context, we're comparing it today to the Roborock Saros R10. But where is it? Another big box. Zoom out. So now that the Roborock is in frame, let's talk about the obvious thing. That bad boy goes for around 1,300 euros at the moment, so at the time of this video, and here we are at around 900 euros. So we have a little bit of a head start in terms of price here, but both aim to deliver high-end performance in terms of robot vacuum cleaning. So let's see how they perform in practice and which one might be better fit for your home, and let's skip the unboxing this time in favor of a little comparison of these two. So yeah. So here we are with our two competitors, starting with the suction power. The eufy E25 comes with strong 20,000 PA suction power, while the Saros, on the other hand, 10R offers 11,000 PA. On paper that sounds like a lot, but we have to see in the real world or in our testing world how big of a difference that really is. For mopping, the eufy uses a single roller style mop with its own trademarked HydroJet technology. This thing spins at 180 rounds per minute and scrubs itself 360 times per minute while it works. So instead of wiping your floors with a dirty cloth, you're always cleaning with a fresh surface. It also lifts the mop by about 10 mm when it detects carpets, so that's good enough for hard floors with a low profile rug, but if you're going thicker carpets it might still make contact depending on the surface. Navigation wise, the eufy uses a LiDAR sensor which is at the top of the little robot. It uses that to map your space and pairs it with an RGB camera and built-in LED lighting for obstacle recognition. It can identify over 200 different object types, things like shoes, cables, socks, you name it. And for anyone worried about privacy, eufy promises that no data is shared or uploaded, so everything stays on the device, on the robot or in the app locally, so no data transfer is going out. But of course, we can't test that, we have to trust them. Now switching over to the Roborock Saros R10, instead of a single roller mop like the eufy, it uses two rotating mop pads like most of the competitors out there. And while this kind of construction gets the job done, of course, they don't have a real-time self-cleaning like the eufy, so that results in more water usage overall and the mop pads aren't refreshed mid-cleaning. That said, the Roborock makes up for it in other areas. So for example, it doesn't just lift the mop, it can completely detach them during vacuum only runs. I mean, if you're just doing dry cleaning on carpet, you get full suction power without anything dragging behind. And that's a big plus if your home has a lot of rugs or wall-to-wall carpeting. In terms of navigation, the Roborock also uses LiDAR, but combines it with a 3D structured light sensor. It's a different approach to obstacle detection, less about visual recognition and more about depth and shape scanning. And just to round things off, battery-wise, on paper both are rated for up to 180 minutes. For the eufy, that's in vacuum-only mode, and the Roborock 10R, it's 180 minutes in silent mode. So while those numbers look similar, real-world performance will depend heavily on your settings and cleaning mode. But either way, both should easily cover a full apartment. And I hope we can drain the battery in our testing scenario. Otherwise, we have to let it clean the whole office. Oh no, that's very sad. The base stations are fairly equal in terms of convenience. The eufy E25 includes auto-emptying, mop washing, hot air drying and detergent auto-dosing backed by separate clean and dirty water tanks. Roborock offers a similar experience, and so it more or less again comes down to personal preference or style or design. The Roborock feels quite massive, I have to say, with this big black front of it, while this is a little bit more organic, but yeah, that's nothing we can compare in an objective way. It's more a matter of taste. So it really seems like price is the biggest difference here, because we have 1,300 euros on this side and 900 something euros on this side. So let's see if the Roborock can bring those 300 euros to the floor or off the floor, however you say that. But enough words, let's start and jump right into the testing. We started with the kind of mess you've probably seen after any snack attack or a late night cooking session. Ketchup, mustard and a bit of sour cream sauce for good measure, all smeared onto the floor to be annoying. Unless we say otherwise, all our tests were done in AI mode, so the robots decide for themselves how to tackle each mess, which is actually pretty useful for testing too. If one of them decides to vacuum up the mustard instead of mopping it, that's still a valuable result. And let's be real, that's exactly how most people will use it, these bots these days. So yeah, now both of them charged at the stains like they meant business. One thing you'll notice right away, the Roborock sticks to a very clear, consistent pattern every time. The eufy, on the other hand, uses a chaos method, which might seem a little bit unfamiliar at first, but as you will see, it absolutely works and delivers a clean result either way. It just looks irritating from some people, I heard. Both robots handle this challenge with ease, but one thing you will notice right away, the Saros R10 uses way more water. After the E25 finishes mopping, the floor is pretty much dry again, or at least it's a little bit wet, not that much, and within 5 minutes you can walk without any wetness on the floor, feelable or visible. With the Saros though, let's just say we had a bit of a slip and slide moment. So that said, both did a great job overall. But then I was curious and I thought maybe it's eufy's obstacle avoidance that brings that chaos approach to the table. And what happens if we turn off that obstacle detection? You can see here the AI obstacle settings. And yeah, let's just deactivate that and run that test again. And so I gave it a shot and lo and behold, it worked. The E25 suddenly charged through the mess in straight, clean lines, tackling everything with a much more structured approach. No chaos method, just laser-focused cleaning. So yeah, next, liquid messes. Stuff like the spilled chocolate drink, milk and water puddles. This is where things got interesting. The eufy E25 cleaned everything up in one go and left the floor about as damp as it was in the sauce test, nothing out of the ordinary. Roborock, though, kind of threw us for a loop. It didn't really seem like it was picking up the liquid at all. It just kind of smeared it around and redistributed the mess a little bit. Super odd. And here's where something else and something unexpected happened. I filled both robots with 2 liters of fresh water to keep things fair. Yeah, the Roborock 10 Air can actually hold up to 4 liters in the base, but since the E25 tops out at 2.5 liters, I figured 2 liters for both would level the playing field. But then mid-test, the 10R hit me with a notification saying it needed a refill, while the eufy was still going strong with plenty of water left. So yeah, okay, interesting learning. We weren't even trying to test efficiency here, but I guess we kind of did, at least in terms of water usage. Back to the 10R and those spills. Of course, we gave it a second shot and let it run again with a freshly filled water tank, and this time it did clean up the liquid, but the floor actually ended up even wetter than before. Both models left the floor free of any sticky residue, which is great, but with the Roborock, the floor was so wet afterward that I seriously worry if you were using it on something like hardwood. I mean, it doesn't matter when you have a tile floor, but for a wooden floor like we have here, that can cause some serious damage. So I kind of win for the eufy if you have a sensitive floor, definitely. Next up, we tested how both vacuums handles a common real-world mess. Some gravy mess scattered around a flat floor, and one thing you notice right away, the Roborock takes a much gentler approach here. The eufy, on the other hand, charges into the dirt like it is on a mission, sometimes even blasting particles across the floor in the process. Meanwhile, the Roborock calmly goes about his job. That said, both managed to leave the floor spotless for just one pass, so job well done either way. Now let's throw a medium height rug into the mix. Here too, you can tell the Roborock carefully approaches the edge and climbs up smoothly, while the youth is a bit more rough with it. So yeah, but the real surprise came once they were on the carpet itself. This is where the 20,000 PA suction of the eufy actually seems to make a noticeable difference. Even though the Roborock cleaned the surface, you could still see bits of debris stuck in the fibers, even from a distance, and even after a few more passes, that didn't really improve much. Still, I wouldn't call the E25 a clear winner here either. The way it kicks dirt around kind of cancels out some of the suction advantages. Plus, the Roborock actually did a better job at cleaning along the edge of the carpet. But if your place is mostly carpet, the eufy and its extra power will probably serve you better. So what's the takeaway? Both the eufy E25 and the Roborock Saros R10 handled our tests like pros, but in their own style. The Roborock brings a careful, structured pattern and a slightly more polished navigation, while the eufy charges in with stronger suction and a bolder cleaning style, and surprisingly efficient water use. In the kitchen messes, the E25 kept things dry, needed fewer refills, and still left the floor spotless. The Saros, while zero, needed a bit more help and left the floor noticeable wetter, something to think about if you got wooden floors. And on carpets, the eufy's 20,000 PA of suction clearly dug deeper, even if it came in with a bit more force. Roborock meanwhile stayed smooth and handled edges with finesse. But what gives the eufy really an edge is its HydroJet system. It scrubs in real time and keeps the mop clean while it's working, so you're not dragging dirt around. You're actually lifting it off the floor. You end up with cleaner results, fewer streaks, and a feature that you usually only get in pricier flagship models. And speaking of price, that's where the biggest difference shows up. You've got two strong performances here, but one of them costs a few €100 less. So yeah, the decision's yours. But for me, it's kinda hard to justify paying more when the end result is this close. And I honestly like both of these vacuums. They did great, but my wallet definitely leans in one direction, I would say. So if you got any questions, thoughts, or maybe your own experience with either of those, drop it down in the comments. And if you enjoyed that video, feel free to leave a like, hit the subscribe button and ring that bell so you don't miss what's coming next. And thanks for watching. Go enjoy your clean floors and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one. Bye bye.